Welcome to the roof of my home, somewhere in damp, wet, rural Western Oregon. It's raining, and there are midges and mosquitoes and flies ready to feast on my flesh. But I'm up here because I want to talk to you about a project that is happening that is going to be putting something really awesome on the roof of my home. And it's something that I feel is going to change our family's life forever. And no, I'm not talking about the Starlink dishy that's winding its way to us right now, although that is seriously going to be a better improvement than those cables behind us. But today I want to talk to you about something else. I want to talk to you about photovoltaic solar panels. We've wanted solar panels for a really long time because charging your electric car from them is certainly one way to deal with the people that say EVs are powered by coal, but for various reasons, we've not been able to get them, partly because they're still freaking expensive. But thanks to the sponsors of this video, Energy Sage, the current interest rates, and a little careful mathematics from us, we've been able to afford solar panels on the roof of our home. And today, I'm going to show you how you can do exactly the same thing. But if you'll forgive me, I'd like to do the rest of this video inside, because I'm getting wet. Whew! Now that is a lot better. Less windy in here. Let's sit back and I'll explain just how I'm getting 15.3 kilowatts of photovoltaic solar panels installed on the roof of my home without having to pay any extra money out of pocket. Disclaimer, I am not a mortgage broker, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a realtor. I'm just giving you my own personal experiences and explaining how we were able to get solar panels for an effective net zero price. As always, you should seek professional advice before making any financial decisions. With that out of the way, let's take you back to the start of this year when my partner and I were looking into our current mortgage. We purchased this house back in April 2019, and as first-time buyers, in the US at least, we were able to get a decent but not incredible mortgage deal. If memory serves correctly, we were able to lock in about a 90% mortgage using a 4.9% interest rate. And because we were buying with a deposit of less than 20%, we also had to pay something called PMI, or Private Mortgage Insurance. For those who don't know, it is basically an extra fee that gets added to your mortgage to fund a special insurance policy to protect the lender, not you, against the possibility that you might not be able to keep up payments on your home. The closer you get to having a loan to value of 80% or less, which happens as your mortgage gets paid off or as your home goes up in value, you'll find those PMI payments shrink, and eventually you can get rid of them completely, and that really drops your mortgage payment. Because we purchased the house less than 2 years ago and we had a 90% mortgage, our on-paper PMI was still pretty high. But then, after running some numbers, we realised that it was possible for us to do things very differently. And so here's what we did, and please forgive me, because I'm talking about my own personal finances, I'm not going to share dollars and dimes with you, but I am going to share some percentage changes. In January, during one of the coldest parts of the year, we have everything electric here with no other heating or cooling options. We were paying equivalent of 1/5 of our original mortgage payment just on the monthly electricity bill. Remember, because we run this channel at the house, we have a couple of big servers here, as well as all of the editing machines and studio equipment, and even though they're not always on, the power they consume quickly adds up. Anyway, after doing some research, we discovered that our 4.9% mortgage, while a reasonably good rate when we purchased the house, wasn't anywhere near the lowest price that we could theoretically get. So we reached out to our friendly local mortgage broker, who's been working with the family for a while, and inquire about the possibility of refinancing. At the same time, we'd looked into the prices of solar panels and had discovered that we could fit a 15.3 kilowatt photovoltaic array on our roof. And we wanted to see if we could refinance the mortgage to get the extra equity we needed to buy the panels. Sadly, long story cut short, that wasn't possible for us because, as I've already explained, we'd only been in the house a short while. But what our mortgage broker was able to offer us was a massive cut in our interest rate to just 3%. If you add in a valuation of our house that was a full 15% more than the house was when we purchased it, and we found ourselves in a much better position. We're still not below that magic 80% loan to value ratio, but we are now so close to it that we're only expecting to pay PMI for about another year or so. Our drop in mortgage, equivalent to about a 22% decrease in our monthly payments, represented more than enough savings to make our mortgage more palatable and also fund the solar panels through a third-party lender, who I'll come to in a moment. But first, let's talk about our video sponsors Energy Sage and how they made it easy and simple for my family to set out on the path to making our own power at home. Energy Sage is a nationwide service that allows homeowners to research their solar options, input their address, and safely receive quotes from verified local solar installation companies. It was Energy Sage that we used when we were looking for solar installers for our home project, and the process I've experienced so far has been nothing but A-star, which is ultimately why we said yes to working with them on this video. When Energy Sage collects your details through its website, it passes those details securely on to verified solar installation experts in your area, who are then given the chance to place a bid to install your system. Because installers have to be bonded, registered, and verified to work with Energy Sage, and their actual work is both regularly vetted and verified, I felt secure knowing that the solar professionals I was interacting with knew their stuff. And because they're local to me, they also know any local incentives, regulations, and requirements that would be pertinent to my installation. Most installers will also be able to offer you a range of different solar panels and inverters for your needs, and some are even set up to install things like Tesla Powerwalls. Additionally, you don't pay to use Energy Sage. The installers pay Energy Sage for an annual membership dependent on how many projects they want to bid for every year. Like all of the checks I've just shared, this really sorts out the good installers willing to stand by their work from the hordes of companies on Facebook and YouTube who simply just want your money. We chose a local installation expert who was familiar with our area, knew the local grid, and was able to set us up with all of the right incentives. He was also able to put us in touch with a local credit union in nearby Washington State, which has an extremely low interest rate photovoltaic solar loan program with no prepayment penalties, although financing is nothing to do with Energy Sage. After the remortgage was complete, we filed all of the paperwork with the credit union, were accepted into their program, and were able to sign off the installation. Importantly too, there are various milestones in any solar installation contract: planning, installation, and activation, and they are also milestones in our loan program that we have to give verbal approval to the bank for before any funds are paid to the installer. This means that our installer won't get the funds until the installation is complete, and protects us as well as the installer. To be honest, our biggest challenge throughout the whole process has been the required inspection time from our local utility company, PGE. Normally, residential solar programs are small enough that it's pretty easy for the utility to just approve the application on spec. But because our array is going to be 15.3 kilowatts, we needed to go through some extra hoops and have all of that studied before we knew the project would be given the go-ahead. Even with pessimistic solar energy predictions for this house, I'm expecting to be able to generate between 1/2 and 2/3 of our annual electricity consumption from the roof. And when we take into consideration the savings from the electricity, we are still in a net positive position than we were prior to the remortgage. Even if we add in the cost of the solar loan to our new monthly mortgage payment, we're still about 11% better off than we were. Of course, all of this did have some prerequisites. We needed to have a good credit score, a good mortgage broker, and access to a great solar loan program. And of course, we also needed to own this house. But if you're in that very same boat and you're interested in solar, maybe now it's time to consider taking advantage of those dropped mortgage interest rates to get yourself powered on sunshine at home, and perhaps on the road as well. Thanks to Energy Sage for sponsoring today's video, and thank you to my wonderful solar installer Chet and his team. I've left a link below that you can follow to try out Energy Sage's service. Remember, it is completely free and there are no obligations to buy anything when you fill your information in. If you follow the link below, we will get a kickback when someone uses our special affiliate link, so you'll also be helping the channel too if you check the service out. But to be completely clear, we paid full price for our solar installation, and we haven't been given any special treatment by anyone throughout this process. In fact, we only agreed to do this video because we were so impressed as customers with Energy Sage. And if you're someone who already has solar, let me know if you did this, some crazy maths like this, in order to make it a reality. I am super curious. That's it for today. As always, thanks to the folks on my right for being our $15 to $49 a month Patreon supporters. Special thanks to our $50 a month Patreons, that's Regine Fellows, Gordon C., Paul Conway, Laura Sanborn, Anthony Coates, Sean Ueda, and Tazla in the Gong. And our deepest gratitude to our $100 a month Patreon supporters, John Lyons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback, Will Graylin, and Ian. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, you can do so by following the link below. You'll also find links below if you fancy sending us a tip through Ko-fi or Bitcoin if you just prefer to support us that way. You'll also find a link to our Discord chat room, which is completely free to join, so please give that a go if you are feeling chatty. And as usual, you'll find everything from t-shirts to face masks, water bottles and hoodies at our Redbubble store. Thanks for joining me, and as always, keep evolving!